Well, it's Tuesday Wrestling, and you know what that means. So, let's review AEW Dark and Impact Wrestling and throw in a little bit of the news updates on this episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome, everybody, to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that it's pro wrestling from AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, matches, wrestlers, and championships. I'm your host, Jay Rod here. So let's begin with AEW Dark. This time, the show went a bit more less longer than I anticipated. As you know, recently there's been two or over 2 hours of show, or less of 2 hours. But this time they went for an hour and maybe 5 minutes, an hour and 5 minutes plus, which was unusual, but I was okay with it. So let's get started with the first match. First match, we have John Cruz taking on the IWGP United States Heavyweight Champion, John Moxley. Now, it was unusual, but come on, who doesn't love Moxley? You know what I mean? But it was a good show, John Moxley. Not even though I just saw on Twitter today that Serpentico was laughing at him. Yeah, laughing at John Cruz. If you guys wondering why, it turns out that John Cruz is in fact Serpentico, so he has a bit of a split personality. And so John Moxley won as always when he applied the infamous paradigm shift. So the next match is a tag team match. We have Bear Country taking on Chaos Project, but this match was unbelievably good. Reason I say this, I have talked about Bear Country many times over. I feel like they're an amazing tag team that AEW should sign. Now, you ask me why. If you've seen the recent development with Bear Country, ever since they made their debut in AEW Dark, you would know what. They're an amazing team. I would sign them if it was me. And taking on Chaos Project, well, they kind of came up short. But Bear Country took the win. I don't know if, from what I can see, if AEW are interested in signing them. So if they are, thank you. Next match, we have another tag team match. We got Jake St. Patrick and Sage Scott taking on the Butcher and the Blade. And of course, the bunny was there to annoy people with her little sinister laugh. So, but you can guess that the Butcher and the Blade won the match as always in this one. Next match is a women's match. We have Renee Michelle making her AEW debut. If you guys know who she is the real life wife of Drake Maverick. So she's facing Shana. So it was an interesting match to see. As you know, I did like Shana's new gear using Vegeta setup because she has used like the Goku gear for ever since she came back. But it's awesome. And of course, Shana won her matches applying the Tiger Suplex as been her finisher move ever since she came back. So Shana won this match. Next match, it was VSK and Eric James taking on Dark Order members Alex Reynolds and John Silver. Great match. I am becoming a fan of Silver and Reynolds. I would love to see them one day pick up the tag team division. And if there is, but also I want to put this out: if AEW did allow to have if the forbidden door is open, I would like to see Reynolds and Silver go for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. That is a good thing to watch, and let Uno and Stu Grayson get the heavyweight tag team title. So that's how I see it. But yeah, but Silver and Reynolds won this match. Next match is another tag team match. Baron Black and John Skyler taking on Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus. But in this particular match, they were not in a happy mood. If you recall, Luchasaurus' horns were cut off. Marco Stunt was kidnapped, all because FTR claims that Jungle Boy reported them to the principal, and Jungle Boy reaffirmed him that he had nothing to do with it. So basically, they were not in a good mood, and they won the match. And this is the first time they went all out aggressive. Basically, they're a little ticked off that FTR gets in their heads. And you probably ask, why are they that? FTR has called them a joke, thinking that they don't deserve to win the tag team titles. That guys like them don't deserve to beat the top guys. So it's always been a case about who should be at the top, who should be in the bottom. But this feud between them is far from over. Next match, we have another women's match. We have Britt Vixen taking on Tay Conti. As you know, Tay Conti is a phenomenal wrestler, great submission expert using Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and all that, and that's how she won her match. And Anna Jay was there in her corner. Next match, we have Aaron Solo taking on Eddie Kingston. Um, it was a very interesting match, but it ended with the backslash that that Eddie Kingston applied to win the match. Then we got Ricky Starks taking on Casey Navarro. That one ended way quicker when he speared Casey Navarro. Basically, he's sending a message to Sting saying that he's going to hurt him for getting involved in their business. So that's how it is. And then we got Mexican wrestling who we have seen on the New Japan Strong in recent months. We have Mysterioso taking on Brandon Cutler. Awesome match. And of course, Brandon Cutler won by applying that springboard elbow drop as he always does. So he wins this one again. Next up, we got Ryzen taking on Powerhouse Hobbs. Again, this one ended quicker. Basically, they're trying to send a message to Sting and Darby Allin. Then finally, the main event, we have Fuego del Sol taking on the latest member of the Nightmare family, Nick Comoroto, along with the Natural Nightmares. Basically, I like how in the end of this match, Nick Comoroto was able to pull off the finisher on him with a very interesting move, but apparently Fuego was unable to apply the DDT, the Tornado DDT. So we'll see what happens then. So I'll end it right here and move on to Impact Wrestling. Okay, so we're in the fallout in Impact Wrestling from No Surrender. As you know, Rich Swann retained the Impact Wrestling World title, but however, the celebration was cut short, all thanks to Moose, who has been demanding his title shot for a while now. And of course, because of what he did to Rich Swann, he wasn't available to be there. So, let's start out with the first match. The first match was an X Division championship match between the winner of the Triple Threat Revolver, Josh Alexander, taking on the current champion, TJP. It was a really good match because you can say Josh Alexander is not a high flyer. You're right. But however, there's the thing with the X Division. There is no weight limits. If you want proof, if you guys are never heard of Samoa Joe, he is that definition of that when he was in TNA back in the day and he was X Division champion. So, but it was a good match, but however, it was TJP that actually retained the title when he applied the Black Mamba on him. Then we have Myers Hernandez meeting up after what happened at No Surrender. As you know, he was supposed to take out Hernandez was supposed to take out Cardona, but however, it didn't go that way. But however, he was set up in the match against Cardona in a singles match while Brian Myers was there in the back watching. However, during that time when he paid him, Falabal asked Hernandez for $10, just to get in the casino. So basically, he didn't take his money this time. So he just asked him for less, which was interesting. The next match is a fatal four-way match between former and maybe one day X Division champion um, Willie Mack, Suicide Davari, and Trey Miguel. Great match. I wasn't sure where in this how who was gonna come out. As you know, three of the four four were in fact X Division champions, so I didn't expect too much. But however, I feel this guy should have an X Division match for the title, and that guy is Trey Miguel, and he came out victorious once again with his amazing new abilities. Since he now not only he's a high flyer, he's applying submission moves. Now, as soon as this match was over, he was paid a Sammy Callahan was in fact lying awake getting into his head once more. But as you know, Trey Miguel will not take him lightly due to criticizing him that he thought, oh, he left, now he's back. So we'll see where they're gonna go with that. Now, speaking of what's going on, Demore was talking to TJB and of course Ace Austin, busting through the door, asking for a shot of title since he is the winner of the Super X Cup. And of course, the more kind of gave him another obstacle. There was going to be a six-man tag team match. Whoever wins the six-man tag team match, the following week will be a triple threat match, and the winner will be the number one contender for the X Division Championship. So basically, Ace Austin knows that it's inevitable for him to win. So we'll see where they're going to go with that. Now we get to the match between Brian Myers along with Hernandez and with Brian Myers against Mark Cardona. As you know, Brian Myers tried to get interfered, but it didn't work. It was Matt Cardona that won the match. But however, during the post-match interview, he was saying that he's happy to be there. But however, Brian Myers thinks that what he says that comes out of his mouth is a load of crap. That he's there to take his spotlight. But this was all a trap to take him out. But however, it did not help them in a way. Eddie Edwards once again got involved. So basically, Brian Myers is losing his mind, believing that he's the biggest sensation there. Matt Cardona should not have been there. So he's basically going out like, you're being, this dick, that sort of thing. But we'll see where they're going to go. Then we got more of the advertisement for this coming Wednesday Night War, which is still the fallout of Valentine's Day. And of course, Tony Khan said he didn't get nothing for Valentine's Day, but it was really funny. Now we get to the fallout, what happened after the Knockouts tag team titles. As you know, Nevaeh and Havoc did not win the title, so Havoc was managed to talk to her, asking her, where do we go from here? Because that is the question. What happened now? They did not win the Knockouts tag team titles, so Nevaeh is asking, where do we go from there? But all of a sudden, they get an unexpected visitor, Tennille Dashwood and Caleb with the K. And they set up with the match. And of course, Nevaeh asked Havoc if she was going to do this alone. Now we get to the biggest thing that happened. As you know, in No Surrender, it was announced that FinJuice, consistent of Juice Robinson and David Finlay, will make their AEW debut. This time, they're taking on against Reno Scum. Good match. I know many fans who are New Japan are probably saying, oh my god, is New Japan and Impact and AEW working together? Well, we may see this. It could be that we may be seeing the Forbidden Door opening, but just a tad bit. But it was a good match. It did end it with Finjuice playing an amazing finisher. And of course, after the match, the Good Brothers show up, but the Finjuice reminded them that they're not young boys anymore. That they're in their own game. They actually, as you know, they were the World Tag League champions of 2019, but also the IWGP the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. So basically, they disrespected the Good Brothers in a good way, but also bad. However, if you're a Bullet Club fan. Now, in the bar, Rohit Raju was not happy how the match ended, where he did not become the two-time X Division champion. Blame it on Sheriff, but however, he disturbed the Cowboy James Storm and he whacked him. But Chris Sabian warned Shera not to get involved because bar fights are Storm's thing. But however, they were visited by that creep Johnny Swinger and invited them to Swinger's Palace. During Swinger's Palace, Volleyball got his money and he got ripped off again. So basically, I had the suspicious feeling that Swinger's been ripping off Volleyball to get even with them. But we'll see what happens down the line. And of course, Storm and Saban are enjoying how this whole thing is turning out. Now we get to the match between Tennille Dashwood and Nevaeh. You would have assumed that Nevaeh would come up victorious to make up the fact that she lost this past Saturday No Surrender. Frankly, it didn't go exactly like that. It didn't go according to plan, but Tennille Dashwood took the victory. So we don't know what's going to happen next between Nevaeh and Havoc. Havoc did offer her to be there by her side, but she didn't want that. So, but could this be the beginning of the end for Nevaeh and Havoc? We'll see what happens next. And of course, before we get to the main event, a message from Diener of Violent by Design saying that he was disappointed that his cousin Jake was accepting the sickness, that he accepted the disease, that he was going to put him through a table instead of him being offered the table. So he tells him that he will put him through a table next week in a tables match. So we'll see what's going to go with that. Can Jake survive this onslaught? Well, you may never know. Now we get to the match between Moose and Tommy Dreamer. Dreamer mentioned this earlier in an interview that he talked to D'Amore after what happened last time. This match became an old school rules match, which is Tommy's repertoire. Frankly, there was some good moments, but however, it didn't go exactly to plan for Tommy Dreamer. Moose won. So basically, this match was nothing personal, it's all business, but Moose did tell Dreamer that he's just a nomad, that he needs to stay out of he thinks that the world revolves around him. But however, I do have that feeling that Moose will deal with Kenny since he's telling the entire world that he's the best wrestler in the world and he's the real world champion. Well, Don Callis will have something better to say to that. So Moose won the match. But what does this mean for Rich Swann? We'll see what in the upcoming weeks. So let's go on to some news updates. All right, so here's some news updates for all of you. So recently, WWE has been signing a lot of people. Recently, Blake Christians has been signed as in the developmental deal. Recently, I heard more has been signing in. Recently, I just found out today, Millie McKenzie has been signed. If you guys don't know who she is a British wrestler who's been in the independent scenes. In Japan, she's been working with Sendai Girls. and a few in a few other places. But also, if you guys are not familiarized with her, she was also amongst the women involved in the speaking out movement. She spoke out against Travis Banks. So that's pretty much it. But however, you probably ask yourself, wait a minute, why would WWE sign more people after they release her? That is a good question. But however, WWE does have more problems. As you know, they've been upset that they will not be getting a bonus. Many of their financial status has been cut. So this angered a lot of the talent and crew. So I don't know how this is going to be played out. We just will wait and see what happens. Now, related to WWE, we just heard the announcement that Lacey Evans is pregnant with Ric Flair's baby. But however, it's been revealed that she is legitimizing herself. She is legitimately pregnant. So I don't know if they're using the pregnancy in some kind of angle. This is nothing compared like Becky Lynch, where she announced that she was going to be a mom after the Money in the Bank thing. So we'll see what happens after that. Now, um, in related news, Impact Wrestling decided to ban Sammy Guevara. Now, if you guys recall what happened last week on Dynamite, Sammy Guevara quit Inner Circle. There was plans that they wanted him to go to Impact Wrestling for a storyline, but however, it was canceled. It was Jericho who pitched the idea to Khan, and then he passed it on to Don Callis. But apparently, they decided to ban him. None of the details explain the reasons, but Jericho did call Guevara and telling him, "Do not go to Nashville. Go straight home to Houston." So I will follow up on this to find out what is going on that. In other news, as you may or may not have known, I haven't reviewed this Pro Wrestling No event. Keiji Muto is now the new Global Honor Crown heavyweight champion when he defeated Go Shiozaki. Now, because of this, he signed a 2-year deal with Pro Wrestling Noah since he is the age of 58. And it was also told that Impact Wrestling are now interested him to defend his title in Impact Wrestling. If you guys do recall history, Keiji Muto did have a promotion called Wrestle One. They were once in a partnership with Impact in the past, so I don't know what's the deal with that, but we'll see where they're gonna go with it. And related to championship status, Akimaya actually won the top title in DDT Pro Wrestling. He signed a 1-year deal with DDT. So I will be following up on more updates, see what they're gonna say. So for now, I'll see you guys the next time. There will be more episodes coming up soon. So I'll see you at the next DWZ time, DWZ channel. So I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.